we are emerging into? Is it a period of revival, or is it a period of survival? One thing in conversation with some of you, and I know that there are a lot of different challenges that you're facing, but as I heard somebody tell me, and I agree, we may want to go back to the before times, the quaint period where everything was great and sunflowers grew all over the place. I don't know that the world or the market will allow us to remain quaint and nostalgic about what we do. I don't know that that's what the world is going to allow us to do. So, framing, before we get to the numbers. There are 4 key concepts here. One is this timeline. You'll see as we go through, we've taken advantage of parsing the timeline out in those terms. Number 2, we have created segments based on total program costs. What is total program cost? That includes tuition and all the fees of your program for a cohort for the life of that cohort as it's enrolled. So it could be a year and a half, it could be 2 years, but in the membership survey we ask about the total cost of the program for the most recent cohort, and that's what we'll use as our segmentation device, right? So we're going to break it down. I think there's 6 segments. We'll also cross-tab that segment, at least in this presentation, along 2 dimensions. One is admissions. Jamie will talk you through the admissions component. The second one is financials, quote unquote financials, and I'll talk you through that. There is a key concept, most of you, if not all of you, know this, but just in case, called CAGR. CAGR stands for Cumulative Annual Growth Rate. I always forget what that means, but compounded annual growth rate. Essentially, it's the compounded rate of change over the 5-year period. So 4 intervals of change. Those are 3 key concepts, but I want to also, before we start into the numbers, talk through really quickly 3 caveats. Number 1, take what you see as directional, not definitive. There's a little bit of apples to pears comparison, and we can talk about that in a second. The second one is take a look and pay attention to your segment, meaning your program cost segment, but also the program cost segments adjacent to you, as well as the whole picture. What's happening in your segment may also be impacted by what's happening in any of the adjacent segments as well. And the third one, and this is an important thing, numbers, bare numbers don't tell you the whole story. The numbers are the start of a conversation of what that context in which the numbers appear. Numbers don't give you the meaning, numbers give you an indication, and we are actually going to ask you what the context is that led to that number. Right?